Hello and welcome to the reading. I'm going to be using some of the Romance Angels. Remember, if you are in the chat today, do be kind to others. Please do like the video if you are in the chat as well. Consider subscribing to the channel, but you do not have to be a subscriber in order to like the video. Your support is appreciated by the channel. Okay. Helps promote and provide the content that you actually need, okay? That's why you're here today. So, just relax. But if it's not your message today, don't sweat it. Could be happening to somebody around you. You could be sensitive to energies, okay? You could have one of the clairs. You could be clairaudient. You could be clairsentient. Okay? It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Yeah. So, romance on the way, collective. You made it through hump day, and now you're like, yes, now I'm looking ahead towards the weekend. How do I relax? How would I relax with my love? Right. So, think about that. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Okay, yeah, collective. I recently signed up for one of those, online dating things. Because it was like, well, you're a busy person. Maybe you should just do that for a minute and see what happens. Which is hilarious because I went to go log in today and it's like asked me to verify my profile and all this stuff. So I couldn't even get into it. So anybody out there faking me today, sorry that you got catfished, right? Good grief. Anyway, right. Know who you're talking to online. Don't just be giving people all sorts of information about you, right? You may want to meet in person at a nice public safe location, right? Before getting into intimate details. Getting to know each other. Yeah, exactly. Right. Sometimes we have these long conversations, la, 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 right? And then it's like, what was their name? And you're like, I don't know. And, I would say the majority of that is innocent collective. However, there are those times, right? Like Whitney said, sometimes you have to be careful who you're talking to, who you're sharing information with. What do they want with that information? What are they trying to say with that information? Are they trying to put words in your mouth? So here it says, as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens, right? So maybe you are getting to officially know who somebody is, right? Okay. And then, it becomes the stuff like, oh, how so-and-so takes their coffee. And you know what I mean? But like if you meet in a coffee shop, obviously that could be part of your conversation, right? Like, put it in perspective, collective, okay? Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. Yeah, so that's being the whole open to it, right? Instead of being closed off. This says past life relationship. So this may have to do with your clairsentience, okay? Where if you're tapped into that, it's a feeling of familiarity when you're around this person, whether or not you actually know them. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it is. Maybe you don't even really know this person's name. Maybe it's so-and-so that works at whatever in the mall. And, on Tuesdays when you go walking with your Aunt Sue. Do you know what I'm saying? Y'all ever see Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Okay. And it's like one of those things, right? It's like, oh my God, I don't even know who that person is, but maybe you're crushing on them, right? Okay. So, but you have to take that time and that chance, make the effort, right? If love is something you desire, you have to make the effort, right? That's why I put myself out there on the dating app. It's making the effort, right? Okay. All right. And some people actually know how to carry a conversation on there. Not many, but a few, right? There's a few. Sometimes I think it's like they get so excited that somebody's talking to them that they just think they can say anything. And it's like, well, again, you don't know me like that. So you might need to, you know what I mean? And that's totally fine. If you are like, you know what, I'm not ready for that kind of talky talk yet because I don't know you and you don't know me, right? Like, you know what I mean? Some people want to put their freak flag on display, right? And some of that is just them trying to bait you into being outrageous, right? And it's like, look, last time I checked, I don't have Megan Thee Stallion money, so I cannot afford to be acting ratchet left and right. Okay? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and people will approach you in this way, and it might be because you look as hot as her. Do you know what I'm saying? So they expect like, oh, you just got it like that and blah blah, and you don't have to worry about this, and you don't have to worry. Actually, yeah, I have bills to pay. I got vehicles to wash. I have a down payment on my roof that I'm waiting on for them to install. Yeah, I'm a busy person. I'm not sitting around here waiting on so and so to take care of me. That ain't how this works. Check your facts. Are the Cubs playing the Brewers again tonight? Maybe that's what I need. A little outlet for all this aggression. Anyway, well, it's kind of a rivalry. I might be picking up on it. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. So I guess regionally speaking, you could be um, in my region. I guess. Ooh, this person's saying I want out. So it's saying it's safe for you to love, and then somebody over here saying I want out. So there could be somebody collective that has their eye on you, but they're not out of their relationship yet. So Mercury retrograde. I don't know if that's over yet. Alexa, when does Mercury retrograde end?
Mercury is in retrograde motion July 18th, 2025. Mercury will return to direct on August 11th, 2025.
Okay, so we have a few more days yet. Okay. So yeah. When it says it's safe for you to love here, that doesn't mean for this, whoever this is. Do you know what I'm saying? It's saying this person wants out, but they're not getting out, and you're free to go. You're free to move on, right? Like, you know, the cop is waving you through the intersection. It's time to, no more dilly dallying about it, right? Okay. So what else does the Lover's Oracle have to say here? I knew this was gonna be some, it's that Leo energy too, and it's just, I mean, if you ever met a Leo, I mean, they're very upfront. Leos do not waste time. I wish I could understand you on this making the effort. So collective, there could be somebody that, right, they're saying they they want out, but it's like, yeah, well, I wish I could understand that because it's like, some people they are not able to stand on their own 2 feet. So, the effort that they make is only when it's convenient, right? Like whereas if you've already stood on your own 2 feet, if you've already had your heart broken, you've already done all these things, right? You're like, what it takes. Okay. So you're not just biding your time with so and so, and you're not just doing this because you're bored, and you're not, you know what I mean? You've already had that Isaac Newton moment, All right, laws of physics, anyone? Hey yo, Johnny and Ed McMahon back again at 9:30 after your local news. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Are they getting to know you, collective? Who is getting to know you? Ask yourself. This person's saying they can't make a decision. They're stuck in that two of swords type thing. Right? The person that's all, powerless. I mean, it could be for a reason, collective, but it's not a reason that you need to solve. Yeah, look, it says right here. I don't understand. Yeah, because they haven't gone through the process yet, right? So you might have to like forgive this person for not being caught up on it. Do you know what I'm saying? Hello there in the chat. Are you really Ringo Starr? And overall energy. So they're having feelings about the situation. I don't know exactly what happened, right? Only you know that, collective, and maybe you were hurt as well, right? And maybe that's why you chose to move towards love, right? Okay, so the effort you're making are towards happy times, not towards things that are confusing and right, in some muddy mix. Like you already took your stuff to the dry cleaners. You already went through the car wash. You already paid for the detail. Okay. So when they sit there and say, I don't understand, it's like, well, look at yourself in the mirror. Start there, right? Are you happy with what you see every day, right? I don't always like what the scale says, but yet again, collective, hey man, I get a package of Oreos in my house. That thing's gone in 2 to 3 days. I'm just saying. Nobody's perfect, right? But, there's a reality check that has to occur too. So, no, I haven't exactly been training for the triathlon. Right, collective? And if you're eyeing all these like muscly whatevers and blah blah blah, it's like, well, maybe that's not what they're into. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not going to be into your kind of body type. Maybe they're into some, gym baddie thoughty type thing. Whatever. It's just how it is. And there's nothing for you to be ashamed of either. Because the next person is going to totally like it, whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? And let's not, short sight ourselves into thinking that every situation is permanent. Anyway, might want to study some Chinese philosophy for that. Yeah, Leo Strength. Hello, Leo. Hi, Leo. Hi. Oh my goodness. I saw in the area, some of the area schools started back already, you guys. Oh my God. Can you imagine? When I grew up, people were complaining about September, right? Labor Day. Now it's like the middle of the summer. Can you imagine if you had a farm or something? Oh my God, they'd be hollering. Anywho. But what was really interesting too today? I was watching, Dr. Phil, and they had this guy on there that kidnapped his daughters and used religion as an excuse to not want to educate them past the eighth grade. He actually illegally took them out of the country. This man was later found like guilty of trying to bomb a mosque or something, and he's like now in federal prison. Yeah, I think the whole religion thing was a ruse. What do you think? Good Lord. Oh my God. I knew it was a ruse because as soon as they offered him that free ride back to America, he's like, yeah, I'll come back. Brother was hot working in those goddamn Mennonite clothes down in fucking tip of the Yucatan Peninsula down there in Belize. That's what that was. That didn't have nothing to do with them girls getting back to their mama and all that kind of stuff. And then look what happened to him. He was a manipulator, liar, psychopath from day one. And he was criticizing his wife on there, acting like he's some, religious dude that likes stuff nice and neat. He had his wife living in a fucking trailer with no running water or electricity, trying to raise 2 children. What kind of man thinks that's acceptable? It's unsanitary. They should have had DCFS on his fucking ass. Long time ago. But religion. Yeah, give me a fucking break. These poor children got back to America. They were showing them getting into their rooms again. They're like, oh, books. Like the man wasn't even letting them read books, man. So it ain't about TV and radio. He wasn't even fucking letting them read nothing but probably this, the scripture. You can read the passages of my Lord. I mean, why did he need those young girls down there in Belize? Why? So he could pass them off to some Mennonite men down there? Marrying them off, you know what I mean? And he's set for life, man. He doesn't have to he didn't have to register nothing, right? He didn't have to have a registered income and be tagged. Nobody can see how this is. See. Oh, yeah. And you wonder why Jesus was throwing fucking tables in the goddamn temple. It's because of shit like that. And there was a goddamn fucking Mennonite church leader that helped fucking orchestrate the whole goddamn thing. I need to go on Google and see if they ever charged him with aiding and abetting, a fugitive for kidnapping. Talk about ridiculous. Well, I'm concerned. What do you mean you're concerned about TV and radio? How about concerned about them being kidnapped away from their entire family out of the fucking country? You fucking moron. You call yourself a Christian? Like, I thought the Mennonites were actually smart. Apparently, they're really stupid. Maybe it's because they're fucking inbred or something. Maybe that's why they had to go down to Belize. Right? Start mixing the genes up a little deeper. Because they were getting too fucking dumb up here in the States. Is that it? Talk about human fucking trafficking. This is why people want you to finish your education. Because guess what? If you can read and write, you're going to be able to figure out a recipe, honey. You're going to be able to figure out those instructions on the construction plan. Okay? I'm just saying. Don't let these people screw you out of your life with false promises from the goddamn devil himself. Look it up. Look it up. Michael Hari is his name, Hari. Oh, did I mention he recently came out as trans? At age, now is he 51, 53 in the prison system that he's going to be in for the rest of his life? Yeah, I bet. I bet he'd like to switch over to the women's corrections wing, thinking it's going to be easier, right? Anyway, yeah, Ace of Swords. Who is telling the truth in this situation now? Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. They want out. Yeah, I bet they want out. And some of them ain't getting out. Never. Safe to say we won't see old Michael or what's his name now, Emily, at the class reunion. No, I don't think so. I mean, have you guys ever seen that movie Kingpin? Right? Like that's like the funny version. Jesus. Boy, he's gonna be licking something in jail, all right. Oh boy. When his landlord's on the back. Oh well, I mean, Anyway, two of cups, making efforts a partnership that is fitting of you. Okay, so yeah, great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Yeah, if this person appears in your energy, I guess it's kind of like don't discount it, right? Okay. Take a moment to pause, right? It's not like, you're saying yes or no to an ice cream cone, right? Like, okay, so, right, okay. Seven of Pentacles. Okay, yeah. I feel like collective, for some reason, this person couldn't make a decision because they wanted to know the number of bags you were holding. Right. This could have been this getting to know each other thing. So, just saying. Buyer beware. Buyer beware. And that's male or female. I'm not saying this is, either or, but that's what I just got from that. Okay. So, past life or not, right? You might have to ask yourself, like, well, what's your objective here? Is it like to enable yourself or is it to build with, right? And that's kind of the thing with the Seven of Pentacles collective that you should consider is it's often a turning point. Okay, and you're not waiting around and nor ever have for somebody who can't make a decision on what you're doing. Right? Because you don't need to ask anybody. You know what I mean? That used to drive me nuts when I worked in the corporate world, and one of the areas I worked at, it was like groupthink. And like you had to wait for everybody to walk down the hallway together to the lunch area or da, 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 da. It was just, oh my God, it drove me nuts. Because what it felt like is people always like waiting for somebody else, and I don't operate that way. You snooze, you lose. Okay. So that's why there's these bags sitting here in the first place, because somebody was not snoozing. Somebody didn't hit the snooze alarm. They actually got out of bed and made something of themselves that day or the next day or the day after that. Yeah. Moon card, Pisces, Cancer energy, Four of Wands on the bottom of the deck. You may have been hurt, they may have been hurt, but you are fully in celebration mode, moving towards whatever this kind of, bark at the moon, right, Audie? Yeah. You understand perfectly. They don't. That's all right. Maybe they need to listen to a little bit of the Ozman. The Ozman cometh, right? Okay. And also collective, school has started back up for some people. We're past the solstice now. We're going to start seeing more darkness. We're going to start to be getting in tune with more darkness, being closer to darkness. There was already Halloween candy bags in the store that I was just at. Okay. Anyway. So, that being said, right? How quickly time flies when we're forgiving and learning, right? And that allows us to observe also, and not be so distracted by whatever we have going on, right? Okay. So, when I asked the gal how she asked me how my day was going, so I asked her how her day was going. She's like, "Well, I wasn't even supposed to be here today." And I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "Have you seen the movie Clerks?" So I kind of briefly explained to her what Clerks was and how she should not watch it with her mother. And her eyes got real wide. She's like, "Oh, okay." And so then I had to explain, I was in high school in the 90s. So anyway, yeah. Yeah. But, like I told her, maybe these days, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but like maybe these days, what happened, maybe that movie wouldn't be such a big deal. I don't know. It's just like you're moving forward, you're remembering the good times, you're planning better times. You're standing on your own 2 feet, collective. It's something that other people can't do that you're already doing. So, if you're going to stop and observe something, it's going to be right, yeah, into the great wide open. It's not going to be under the hat of somebody that doesn't want to understand. Somebody that continually says, "I wish I could understand," but then says, "I don't understand." And, anyway. It's like, what? They need to figure that stuff out, I guess. So, yeah, I feel like this is a pretty good reading for you guys overall, romance wise, especially given you have the Ace of Swords here, the Two of Cups, which is, really, I mean, especially collective, if you feel like this could be the one, you really do need to make the effort, because if you don't, you're probably going to regret it, is what I would say to that. But, for some of you, you've already kind of moved forward, right? And it's with or without this person, it's with or without whatever situation. Yeah. So, collective, if for some reason this person turns out to be hesitant towards you in um you know ways that kind of make you feel like you have to explain yourself, you might want to reconsider that relationship, right? And kind of say, well, is it better to feel, because when you are alone, like, you're with nature, you're with the universe, you're with your soul and spirit. When you're with this, that's somebody who's committed to maybe not understanding. I mean, at the end of the day, don't you have to kind of sit there and say, well, you know, maybe this person is just not ever going to understand because they don't want to, and, you have to put that where it goes too, right? And that could be part of forgiving and learning, right? And noticing that everybody grows at a different pace, right? So even if this was like a spark for a moment, like, you know, it doesn't mean you can't have that spark with somebody else. It just might mean it might have been not with the right person. Okay. But in the health zone, right? In the non-toxic zone, okay, when somebody who's actually trying to manifest this, wishing they could understand, right? Okay, and actively working towards that, right? Making the effort, right? Yeah, then maybe this can happen, right? And then that would be the truth of the situation. And it's because you decided in leveling up yourself, right, that you're not going to accept the lessons of other people. Okay, think about it, accepting less. Okay, so sometimes the lessons of others are for others, they're not for us. Because maybe you've already learned lessons and that's why you're, you know, For you it's good, for somebody else it's chump change. Oh well, right? I re- I remember. Oh my god. Somebody I know that was in a relationship. Um, and they were talking about how much they made, and the woman said how much she made, and the guy was like, "That's it." And at the time, like, I don't even think he was making that. So I was like, how rude. Anyway, yeah, so, collective, what you value versus what other people value, right? This is what I'm saying. Don't let people make you feel lonely, right? Because they're too busy doing something else, right? Like, doing this of, going back and forth between whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't even know. Right? Because it could be a lot of things, let's face it. Right? Only you know your situation. So I'm not trying to channel anything like super specific. Plus, it's like some of that's the toxic stuff that everybody knows about already anyway. So, you know, if you need a deeper dive on that, you might have to hit another platform. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are on Reddit these days, but I also have been on Quora before. And I really enjoyed that when I was coming out of a breakup and kind of educating myself on some of these patterns that people engage in and try and kind of grab us into, right? And which is basically these karmic cycles, right? And, even, you know, um, violence prevention centers, right? Talk about the cycle of abuse, right? Because it's a karmic cycle. And without you in it, they have no game, right? There's nothing for them to gain out of that game when you stop playing it. And that makes them angry. That's why they say it's a very dangerous thing, especially when that's why a lot of people go back, right? Uh-huh. Yeah. And then, then the next blow up occurs. Then and sometimes these things escalate. I am proof of things that escalated, and I'm lucky that, I'm here telling you today. So, make sure you're sure, okay? Because some of these people, they will throw around religion. They will con other people as well, right? So just because they're accepted by brother so and so and over here at blah blah blah, if you have a weird feeling about that person, trust your gut. Do not just be going along because so and so said to, because that's how this little Mennonite church leader ended up helping aid and abet this fucking criminal that went on to do a lot of other bad things. I mean, a lot. I'm going to have to post the article to the story. You guys aren't even going to believe it because it's just that wow. And to see him sitting there on Dr. Phil, like Dr. Phil was like 2 feet away from him. And this dude is like, I mean, this is the kind of dude who can probably pass a lie detector test because he is ice cold. And the woman's sister that was on there, she even said, she was like, Dr. Phil, I've seen him change so many times. It's only a matter of time until he changes again. And then when you go through and look at all these different um areas and people and groups that he's been involved with, yeah, he's like, and now he's, claiming that he's trans. You want to talk about a shapeshifter, right? Anyway. Collective, I'm going to leave you with that. I think I will have to find that article and share it because it was just so bizarre. And, and we have that religion in, my greater area, like not like maybe like in my town or whatever, but you know what I mean. But like I always thought they were like a little bit more modern than the Amish. So I was like very surprised to see this whole story and how they were associated with the Mennonites and all this stuff. So yeah, it was a little bit disturbing. But that just goes to show, collective, it doesn't matter. You just have to trust your gut. You have to trust your intuition, right? Bark at the moon, howl at the moon. Seriously, listen to some Ozzy under the moon, right? Lay out under the stars. Just don't disturb your conservative neighbors too much, right? Better yet, take your little cell phone, right, and your Ozzy and take it out into the middle of the golf course at night when nobody's there, right? And then lay down there, look at the stars, and hopefully no Teds will come by with sticks up their a-holes chasing you away. Anyway. I never did like the rent a cops much. Anyway, you guys. Oh my. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.